On.
Okay, so this is my presentation called Lies of a Leader. It's by me, Abby Gross. And so, yeah. So, my introduction is when leaders lie, it leads to consequences. The actions of Napoleon in the satirical novel Animal Farm by George Orwell and the leader of People's Temple, Jim Jones, shows how their followers suffered consequences for their leaders' lies and deceit. With Napoleon, he lied a lot about working and the laws of Animal Farm are the seven commitments, and he usually played it off as the animals did not remember or just like that it was not a big deal. He really he was really just being a hypocrite with the animals and against the laws. And Jim Jones lied a lot to his people. With followers, he would have fake suicide things. Like when new people wanted to join, he would give them two drinks, saying they were both with poison, and if and they would he would have his followers drink them, or the newcomers. But it was like a mock trial, a mock suicide. So then he knew that they were very loyal enough for him. He also lied to all his people into giving them most of their money to um, just kind of designate and depend on the people's temple and like the church in there. And so usually the people didn't have any money because they put it all in the church or for Jim Jones. Napoleon used the excuse of being wise since he was a pig and the animals believed him because of Old Major. Because Old Major was very wise and good with words, the animals believed him a lot because I mean he was, he was good with his words, and he had good claims and evidence and all that of why they needed to do these things. But when he passed away, Napoleon tried to step in, especially getting rid of Snowball because he did not agree with Snowball. And he used the excuse that since he was a pig like Old Major, that he was just as wise and smart as Old Major was, and that everyone should listen to him. Also, Napoleon was never chosen to be the leader, he just made himself leader. Like I said, there were no really designated leaders. Like Snowball was, people listened to Snowball, or the animals did, because Snowball was so good at speeches, and so the animals thought that he was, trustworthy and all that. And when Napoleon did not agree with Snowball, I really think he did not agree with him because he just was like, oh, they like him better because he's better at speeches. I don't like him. And because he wanted to take control over Animal Farm. So he went behind the animals' back and he raised some dogs to chase out Snowball so he could be the leader and practically took over. A surviving member of the cult told BBC News Jim Jones was a con artist. He made everyone feel he was their father. Like I said, with the mock suicide trials or things, he would make sure the people knew that he was there for them and that as long as they rely on him in the temple, then everything would be okay. And he made sure his followers would follow everything he did no matter what. And so, yeah, he practically had everyone wrapped around his finger. When members wanted to leave, he would tell them, you can't go back, you have no money, which was true. Like I said before, they put all their money into Jim Jones or the church. And so, with all the moving around and all that with the church and raising a community, it really just, you know, took everyone's money and everyone didn't have any. Like Napoleon, Jim Jones caused his followers to suffer great consequences with his lies and deceit. Napoleon lied about changing the laws of, or changing the seven commandments, and he believed that, like, he did not want betrayal, and so when he heard that animals were betraying, he ordered a mass execution with animals. So he had animals come up and say if they had betrayed or did something like a little thing, maybe like kept a little food for themselves, then he had his dogs kill them, even though Napoleon was doing the same thing and he was being a hypocrite about it. Jim Jones, however, he lied to his followers about um, a different organization coming for them and wanting to take over them and all that, and that they were bad, and his his message was the way to go, and that everyone should follow him because he was the father figure to everyone, or the father of them. And so when news found out that, or he heard news that some type of army or something, not army, but um, organization was coming to check things out or something, he ordered everyone to do mass suicide because he felt that rather being caught or taken would have been worse than just taking your own life. So he had everyone take their own life so they can all be together. And yeah, this is my works cited. So yeah, and that's my presentation. That's all.